Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Christine Osceolo. I am a franchise specialist with FranNet. Thank you for attending our webinar this afternoon. So who is FranNet? FranNet has been around for 29 years. We have over 80 offices, 3 in Germany, and we just opened 1 in England. We help potential entrepreneurs find a franchise that fits their profile at no cost to them. I will now introduce you to Cliff, who's going to speak to you about a business that has 4 revenue streams. Go ahead, Cliff.
All right. Well, thank you, Christine. Thank you for having us, and thank everyone for taking a few minutes out of your day here to join us for our Lunch and Learn. We'll just kind of talk through our model here at Work and kind of let you know how everything works and see if it might fit into what you're thinking about. On the call today, here's my contact information just in case. Also, I've got a partner, Bill Macy, that helps me out as well. He's on the call as well. But if you decided to look into the At Work group, you'd be dealing with either myself or Bill. A little bit of background on us. We were founded in the mid-'80s, started franchising in '92. We've got 97 offices right now, coast to coast. One of the big differentiators is one franchise fee, multiple profit centers. We'll talk just a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. It is a B2B model with family-friendly hours. A lot of our owners have come out of corporate America, tired of the rat race, tired of the 80-hour week. They typically find that running a staffing office is a nice change of pace. We do have exclusive territories. I'm sorry that cut off just a little bit. Exclusive territories based on population. Our territories are around 250,000 as far as total population. And these are just a handful of the awards that we've won. The staffing industry is doing very, very well. So many changes are taking place in our economy that more and more companies are turning toward temporary staffing to fill their hiring needs. A lot of companies are changing their models where they bring in temporary associates first. Other companies are worried about what changes may come with affordable health care and so forth, so they turn more to temporary labor. Now, these are the multiple profit centers that we spoke about. The first one we call personnel. That's your typical light industrial, clerical, entry-level IT type staffing. The next one is pretty self-explanatory, medical. It's usually staffing nurses on a temporary basis. We do have one B2C model. It's called Helping Hands, and that one typically revolves around non-clinical senior care. And then the last one we call the search group, which is more of an executive permanent placement type role, like a headhunter, if you will. So one franchise fee. You can choose to do one of those. You can choose to do all of those if you would like. We do encourage our brand new owners to start with personnel, get comfortable in the industry, comfortable with us and so forth, and then if you'd like to diversify, you're welcome to do that. Typical office setup. We do require an actual office space, but in this industry, the office space is the primary function of that office is just a place to meet with the potential workers. You'll collect resumes, have them fill out applications, do interviews, and so forth. A little bit of the investment summary. We look for an approximate net worth of around $250,000. We are on the SBA registry, which is very nice. There's some SBA funding products that are available that, because we're on the registry, are relatively easy to get. Total first-year investment, we usually look at anywhere between $99,500 to $174,500. And, of course, that number does include your franchise fee and all the things that we anticipate you'll need to get your office up and going over the course of the first year. Ongoing, we provide all of your operational support and all of your backroom function. So all of your accounting function is done by us here at the corporate office. We pay the labor out of our payroll accounts. We send out invoices to your customers, handle your accounts receivable, and so forth going forward. We supply you with all of the operating software necessary, so there's nothing additional for you to purchase there. It's all web-based, so you can choose to buy your computer products, office equipment, anywhere you like. As long as you've got web access, you've got access to all the tools that you'll need to run your business. Most times our owners are going to look at breaking even in 14 to 16 months. In our franchise model, you do have a lot of autonomy as far as we want you to make your office yours. And some of the big factors in hitting that break-even point, maybe sooner than later, is controlling costs up front. For instance, you could outfit your office with imported mahogany desks if you choose to. We don't suggest that. We suggest you keep your costs under control in the beginning stages, and that'll be a big factor in hitting your break-even point. Amongst my 97 offices, we do disclose an average gross sales of around $3.1 million annually. How are we different? We have talked about the multiple revenue streams under the one franchise fee. Our royalty structure is very different than some of my competitors. Our royalty is based off of your gross sales. So basically, if you don't make any money, we don't make any money. And it's a flat rate of 6.5% of gross sales. We find that our owners feel one of their competitive advantages over their other people that they may go up against is the local ownership. It doesn't seem like it would make that much difference, but in a people business, having the owner out, building those relationships and maintaining those relationships with their customers makes a big difference in this world. Whoops. Sorry, folks, that slide's not supposed to be in there. We do have excellent validation. There's Franchise Business Review puts on a survey every year of our existing owners about owner satisfaction, support levels, things of that nature. And we've won the Franchise Business Review Top 50 Award for the past several years running. Christine, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Christine. Let's see. So one of the slides that didn't make it in this presentation that was supposed to be in the one I sent Christine was kind of a day in the life. What an owner of our company is going to do. So basically, our most successful owners get very involved in the community, go out, build relationships with the decision makers in the businesses in their area. They'll go in and they'll talk about positions that are available in that particular customer's location, and they'll negotiate a couple of things. The first one is they'll negotiate a markup. For instance, they go into a manufacturing facility or a call center, and they find out that they have around 50 employees there. Most everyone that works there has a couple of different skill sets. If it's a call center, maybe they can type and they're familiar with Outlook. If it's a manufacturing facility, maybe they've got experience driving a forklift. So they'll figure out any particular skill sets that's required, and basic general entry-level pay rates. So the first thing that they'll negotiate is what we call a markup. So let's say for this conversation's sake, they find that most everybody that works there comes in at $10 an hour, and they can type and they can drive a forklift. They will come back to that customer and say, okay, great, I'll provide you with those workers just a phone call away, and I'll charge you $15 an hour. So you'll negotiate a markup. And then you'll also negotiate payment terms. If it's a smaller company, maybe you can ask for due upon receipt. If it's a larger company, then they're going to come back to you and say, I need net 15, maybe net 30 payment terms. Most times they're going to say, I don't need anything today, but I'll call you if I do. Well, the following week, someone walks off the job and they need assistance immediately. So they call you up as the owner and they say, send me out someone for my facility, and you go through the list of potential workers that your recruiter back in the office has already pre-screened and figured out their skill sets. And you go through and you find the person you want to send out on that assignment. You call them up, give them all the appropriate information, and they go out and they work that assignment for the week. At the end of each week, they report their hours worked back to you. You verify that and then enter that information into our system. And then at that point, that's where the franchisor takes over. This is how we help take a burden off of our owners. So we process all of the backroom function. We pay the labor out of our payroll accounts, and then we also invoice your customer on your behalf here from the home office. And then your customer will remit their payment back to us as well. So all of your backroom function is done by us here at the corporate office. And for all the services that we provide, the training, keeping you compliant, the operating software, your payrolling, your payroll funding, and as well as your invoicing and your accounts receivable, the ongoing administrative and royalty fee to us for all the services that we provide is a flat rate of 6.5%. So I apologize, I left the slide out that kind of described that, but at this time, I guess, Christine, can we open it up for any questions?
Sure. Let me unmute everyone.
The conference has been unmuted.
Okay, does anyone have questions for Cliff?
I have a few questions I'm compiling on my end, but perhaps I would like to discuss those with Cliff personally on the call.
Okay, I can.
Is this Yuri?
Yes, this is Yuri.
Yeah, we'll be glad to do that.
Okay, but I have been making notes and compiling a bunch of questions, so
hey, Cliff.
We'll have some stuff to talk about.
Cliff, this is Jim O'Rourke. How are you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have a question with regards to cash flow. And
Okay.
You mentioned break even, obviously dependent upon the cash outlay and how quickly you can return it. But receivables and the like, how quickly does the franchisee get refunded by the franchisor for the receivables? Who takes the credit risk? How does that work?
Sure, understand. We do everything in our power to help our owners vet their customers and their credit worthiness. So if it's a company that's been in business 50 years, they've got a great D&B record of paying their bills, we help them look at all of those things. So what's going to happen is there's no additional finance charge for us floating that debt until we receive payment from our owners' customers. Most times, if one of our owners has had to negotiate, say, net 30 payment terms with their customer, our owners will even receive payment before we receive payment from their customer. The labor will get paid weekly, most times because they're looking for a temporary job because they need a quick paycheck. And then we settle up with the owners around the 25th of every month. They'll get what we call a mini financial statement that'll show everyone that they've put to work, the pay rates, the bill rates, the margins, and so forth. And then we settle up with our owners at that time minus our 6.5%. Did that answer your question, Jim?
Yeah, I believe it did. Yep.
All right.
Do you help with financing?
As far as financing of opening the office, is that what you mean?
Financing the investment.
And no, we don't. We are on the SBA registry, so hopefully that'll help, but we don't do any internal financing.
Do you help the franchisee find good employees?
We teach them how to do it. That's a big part of the training portion. Most of the training is designed around the business development and the recruiting of the good qualified workers. The training program consists of, there's some remote training that just the owner will do initially. Most of that has to do with employment laws, things of that nature. And then right after that, we have what's called an owner launch camp, where we invite just the ownership of the franchise to Knoxville, and you'll spend 2 days with us here. And we'll go through all the things that only the ownership of the franchise need to be aware of. For instance, how to manage internal employees, how to pay internal employees, how our owners get paid, things like that. During this time, the owner is usually looking for their office space, securing any internal staff that they may need to hire, things of that nature. And then once the office is pretty much ready to open, we invite the owner and the entire internal staff back to Knoxville and spend a week with us here at the corporate office. And they'll go through everything. We've got a dedicated corporate trainer, and she'll go through how to find the workers, how to find the employees, how to find the customers, operate our systems, and basically everything in between. And they also have a permanently assigned operations person that'll come back out with them, work with them there in their territory and their office right after that initial week of training. And then going forward, they'll come out a time or two a year to help kind of as needed.
Okay. How about how long does it usually take to find real estate?
Usually not very long. What we find most times owners will do is maybe they'll contact a real estate professional in their area and say that they need some type of office space, maybe with a different working area or so, around 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. They'll get it narrowed down to 2 or 3 that they like, and if our owners would like our opinion on which one of those 2 or 3 we feel like might work out best, we're happy to do that. But it's ultimately our owner's decision as to which office space they would choose.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any other questions? Okay, well, I will send everybody an email with the recording. If you need anything, please let me know. Cliff, thank you very much for taking the time to do this webinar for us. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us.
Okay.
Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.